Thanks for watching! If you like this video, be sure to read The Tale of the Order of the Blue Maiden. It's a high-flying adventure. Available now on Amazon, iTunes, Barnes & Nobles, and Kobo. You've never heard a tale like this. This episode has been rated PM for potty mouth. It's like really bad. So bad I didn't bother bleeping it. Don't say I didn't warn you. Who in the heck? Dank Merrick!
Avi!
Where did you come from?
This is a bodyguard.
Oh, well, nice to meet you, Robert.
Oh, he's a bodyguard. Lord Xerus.
That's Lord Xerus.
Lord Xerus.
No, you don't need to do that.
Oh, Lord Xerus.
What do you need, Robert? Oh, I don't know what you heard, but I'm not going to space today. No, I'm doing medieval stuff. I got a whole new project set up in the workshop, so...
Yeah,
No, I told you. The castle's fresh out of dilithium. It'll be at least a month before I get any more. Oh, no, that's out of the question. I had to bail out of jail and the rocket got impounded. That's a story for another time. Oh, no, I think you got me confused with somebody else. Well, I don't know. Why don't you call Uber or NASA or something? Okay, now listen, Bleep Blorp. Oh, no, don't call me that. I told you, my name is Lord Xerxes. Lord Xerus, and I can't give you a ride home to outer space tonight, okay? So why don't you pack it up and take your little act down to Hollywood Boulevard? I heard that Neil deGrasse Tyson's gonna be on Jimmy Kimmel tonight, so if you leave now, you might still be able to make it. So go on, scram, get out of here. Yeah, Phantom Voodoo to you too.
Lord Xerus, Lord Xerus, Lord Xerus, Lord Xerus, Lord Xerus.
Alright guys, one of the factors motivating me to switch to a Florentine style and to make new swords in general is the weight of my old sword. This sword has served me reasonably well. I think it's only my second sword that I've had my entire SCA career. This basket hilt was purchased from Ironmonger Armory. Now, I'm generally a big stickler for aesthetics, and I do love this basket hilt. It's one of my favorite, but it is made out of stainless steel, and thusly, it is kind of heavy. Now, I did get the stainless steel one because the mild steel one probably would have rusted over pretty quickly. I don't know if it really matters in terms of weight, but in any case, this basket hilt is kind of heavy, even though it is relatively small. And I actually had to make edits to my demi-gauntlets in order to get my hands to even fit in here. Despite the small size, I am finding that this sword is still very heavy. That could also be because of the thickness of the rattan that I used, but I actually think that it really has more to do with this basket hilt. So, I got new basket hilts. And I got these basket hilts from Grouchy Mongol Armory. That's on Etsy.com. And I really like these because they really walk the line between being plastic and also not being fugly. Because I find most plastic cup hilts to be incredibly fugly. I really like these because they got this metal strap on here, this little metal strip, and I believe this is covered in linseed oil, so it's got this kind of nice bronzed quality, which fits perfectly in with my color scheme. It's got some really nice etching on there. Even the plastic has a really nice sheen to it, almost like a bowling ball quality. When I first saw these in the picture, I kind of thought they looked a little bit, iridescent almost. This does not. Actually, this is just a flat, glossy finish. Overall, the basket hilt is very pleasing aesthetically. It's got a couple of nicks and scratches on there, but I'm not too worried about that because over time, it's just going to get more nicked and more scratched. The only problem with these overall is that these metal strips are on there crooked. The strip here doesn't match the hole. It's not in the center of the hole. And, you know, it would be one thing if they were both crooked in different directions, but they're both crooked in the same direction. And that's just the worst. I don't know why that always seems to happen with handmade stuff. Fortunately, I think that I could probably finagle the position of the rattan a little bit. If it becomes a real problem, I'll maybe try and remove these rivets here and try to reposition the holes. If it doesn't really interfere with my fighting, then I'm not going to really worry about it too much. I don't know how I would even begin going about removing these little copper rivets. I mean, I probably have to drill through them and stuff. Oh, what a pain. Alright, so I measured my old sword here, and it looks like I used a 32-inch blade. Alright, so I'm going to measure these out. But rather than stick with the 32 inches, I'm going to go with 34 inches. Because if I've learned anything from, you know, fighting at the Saber Legion, it's that, you know, weapon superiority matters, you know. The length of your weapon does matter a lot. I don't want to go super long because having a longer blade does make it a lot harder to swing around. But I'm hoping the weight savings in the hilt will buy me a couple extra inches. I've used this as a prop in a previous video, that's why it's covered with tape. I have to actually remove this tape and retape it. I'm gonna measure 34 inches, probably off camera for you guys. Always the best place to do things is off camera. And here's my other piece. All right, so let's make our cuts here. One of the reasons I'm not just cutting two pieces out of this piece over here is because they actually differ in thickness. The width of this measures as, you know, 1 7/16 of an inch, and down here, maybe 9/16 of an inch. So that's it. I mean, it's subtle, but it makes a difference. Rather than cut the ends off of two, you know, good long pieces, because I want to save one, at least want to make a glaive or something. I'm just gonna use this one that's already kind of scrap. I do need to trim this because it has a kind of a crook in it. So luckily, our measurement kind of puts it right, almost right exactly at the right length. I'm gonna put this in the clamp. Don't want to clamp it too hard, don't want to ruin the rattan. Gonna get our good friend the jigsaw here. That's easy enough. All right, let's put this one in there. Well, nice clean cut. It's weird how sometimes they feel lighter and then heavier at certain moments. All right, I gotta strip the tape off this one before we can progress any further. You know, when I was putting this tape on, all I wanted to do was stick to itself and, you know, ball up. But now that I'm taking it off, it really wants to stay stuck to this stick. And to my glove, apparently. There is a rule that says that you have to round on the corners on your rattan. Now this is an important safety measure. This is so that in case the rattan happens to break through the tape at any point, you're not hitting somebody with the sharp edge of a stick. I got this bench grinder out. I'm gonna go ahead and round down my corners. Shout out to my friend Wesley for giving me this awesome vintage bench grinder. Okay, so the plan is to get to work with this portable hand planer that I haven't opened yet. It's just been sitting in my garage for like 2 weeks. Am I gonna have to put this thing together now? Okay, this is what I didn't want, was to do an unboxing right now. I guess I should have done this ahead of time. I've got my rattan marked here, how much I'd like to take off. We're removing roughly about 1/8 of an inch off each side. Hopefully, having the flat sides will help kind of identify whether the sword lands correctly or if it lands flat. And also, it'll shave a little bit of weight off our, off the rattan pole. So, we're gonna shave it to our minimum, which is 1.25 inches or 1¼ inches. So I wanna make sure that we don't go below that. So that's why I've got my planer right now. I got it set to 1/16 of an inch. So I'm gonna do hopefully a couple of passes and that'll do the trick. I don't wanna be doing this a bunch. Let's see if this works. All right, well, a little bit uneven, just a touch uneven. Let's do another pass. See where I'm having too light of a touch here. Interesting, it's really tough here. It doesn't really want to get in there. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. This area right here doesn't seem to want to be trimmed at all. It's just unfortunate this is so loud. I hate doing work like this late at night. Let's take this out and take a look at it. Ah, shit. You can see I'm tapering the handle a little bit too much. Way too much. But it's okay if the handle's tapered. In the interest of keeping this balance, let's just turn it around. Because I don't want to keep just wasting away at one side and end up with having it be uneven in the end. Alright, something's happening to my wood planer here. Alright, I have to investigate this. Turns out that what happened is that what I did was I kind of burned out my blade. And I think maybe this happened when I was kind of cutting kind of deep into the handle side. Maybe this thing just doesn't like rattan. Although that doesn't seem likely to me. I mean, I didn't have any problem with the hacksaw. I don't know why a wood planer would be any different. Maybe I'm cutting too deep. Maybe I'm trying to cut too much at once. It looks like this blade is just like demolished. I guess I'll try to continue using a different section of the blade. And I guess I'll turn the knob back. I was going at, what was I going at? Like 1/64th, 1/16th before? I think I'm gonna dial it back all the way to like 1/48. If I want to do that other stick, I'm probably gonna have to take the blades out and either replace them or trying to sharpen them or something. I don't know, I had to watch a quick little YouTube video about, you know, there are actually plenty of things about this wood planer that I did not know. But that answers my question as to why it stopped cutting. I felt like it was just running dry on the wood, and I was like, what's going on here? All right, I'm just gonna try to cut a little more and see if we can make any progress. Oh, I gotta plug it in. TPE too, where's our TPE? It's good to know that even after 2 or 3 years of doing projects, we can still find ways to screw it up. This is a brand new planer too, and I ruined it. I friggin' ruined it. Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to cut at all. Maybe it's the rattan. Maybe the rattan is just very uneven. Alright, I'm turning it back to 1/16th to see if I can get some results here. Well, it's doing something. The surface looks pretty flat to me, so I'm having a hard time understanding why it's cutting in some places and not in others. I don't know why I get to the end there and it just doesn't want to do anything. I don't know, it seems like maybe the rattan is a lot tougher on this side. Alright, let's turn it around, see if that does anything. So I am making a little bit of progress, it's just a little bit slower than I anticipated. And of course my blades are getting wrecked, so that's probably also slowing me down as well. I cranked up the depth gauge to let's see, 1/12 of an inch. Okay, I think I'm just going to stop now. Let's take the rattan out. Not quite the results I was hoping for. We can still afford to take another 1/8 of an inch off there. The handle is, unfortunately, just very lopsided now. But hopefully I can fix that with some whittling. I have never worked with a power tool that just immediately crapped out on me. Look at this, it's got scorch marks on here. I guess maybe I asked too much of this hand planer. Maybe the rattan was a little bit too knotty for it. To my knowledge, rattan isn't very hard. Look at these scorch marks on here. I guess this must have been after already I crunched the blades. This hand planer's not working out the way I'd hoped. Anyway, I think we need to replace these blades. So luckily included in this hand planer is this handy dandy little wrench. I didn't even know that these blades were even replaceable. Let's see if I know how to. Okay, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Okay, I had that backwards. Okay, so now that this is loosened, how does this come out? What do the instructions say? Gotta hold this lever down. Ah, here we go. Why won't this come out? What gives? So why won't this come all the way out? So the instructions are no help. They say a lot of contradictory things. Like for one, it says to turn these counterclockwise to loosen them. I'm actually turning them clockwise. They say that the tapered edge should be on the same side as the screw head. The flat side should be at the side of the cutting block. That doesn't make any sense to me because the flat side seems to be on the side of the screw heads. I don't know. I'm losing track of myself here. But these goddamn things won't come out of here, and I don't know. I don't understand why. This is aggravating. Okay, what gives? What changed? I don't understand what changed from one moment to the next. Absolutely fucking nothing. So this is just a piece of shit. It doesn't fucking make any sense. So now the blade is just supposed to come out. All right, let's do the other one first before we let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is unplugged, by the way, so there's no fear of me losing a finger right now. Trying to keep these even. It just appears to get stuck, so I have to loosen it some more. Because if you loosen these enough, what happens is that they start to get tight again. But I'm not sure what happened, what made it want to come out. So it looks like you gotta loosen it all the way. All right, so yeah, that's probably obvious. Having never done this before, I wasn't sure what the fudge was going on with these. Now, those blades look like they're toast, so we're gonna have to pull them out and see what's on the other side there. I'm told that these blades are double-sided. I did buy some replacement blades. These are actually a different brand, but it does say on here that it does fit this particular model, so let's keep our fingers crossed, shall we? Now I'm gonna pop these out. I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm wearing gloves. They said you're supposed to wear gloves, so. I am seeing some other holes here, so I don't know if I'm supposed to loosen that somehow, but I'm looking in there and I don't see any screw heads, so. Okay, well that's definitely not the way to do it. The manual just says to push it out with a screwdriver. So I got a screwdriver here. Oh. Well, why was that suddenly so easy? That's weird. So now I'm just gonna turn the thing around. No. Turn it like this, and pops back in there. Okay, well, that's done. Woo! That was toughy. All right, let's do this one. Yeah, it wouldn't be something if these were just in the machine backwards, and like I didn't know, I had no idea they just came that way from the factory. Again, I'm not sure why now it's suddenly acting difficult. See, that's the thing. I don't know what I did to make it come out last time. Let's just kind of do whatever they want. Son of a bitch. Maybe you shouldn't use a table with holes in it, Xerus. There's our edge. It's toast. It's all burnt up and stuff. So I'm just flip it around. Oh, does this use magnets? This is just on here with magnets. Okay, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Well, that kind of makes more sense now. It's just a magnet holding it in place. Oh wait, what did I do? Did I fuck it up? Uh-oh. I broke the magnet. Okay, for some reason the magnet doesn't want to stick back together where it was before. Come on, magnet, just get back in there. That's your home. Somehow I bent the rod, and now it's not like wanting to be flush on there anymore, but I feel like it's not super important because once I stick this back into the planer, I'll be able to flatten it back out again with using those screws. My whole impression of how this whole thing worked is really kind of backwards. So I guess, you learn something new every day. I have no idea. Oh boy, okay, so now I think I gotta tighten this now. Oh fuck. Now I gotta put this in place over again. Just gotta pull this off. It's acting as if I really damaged it somehow, but I don't really see how. There's like nothing in here that could have been damaged. And the hardest thing is getting this to... And then this is another mystery. Why? There we go. The trick is to getting it all the way in there without disturbing the magnet. There, Jesus, okay. Full disclosure, I did watch a video of a nice man who was working on his boat with this tool, explaining a lot of things about it. Okay, so we've replaced our planer blades, and we've got our rattan vice grip to the table. And by the way, these vices are bolted to the table with like 6-inch lag screws and some nuts and some washers. Okay, so it's pretty secure. We still have about 1/8 of an inch to go on our rattan here, so we need to start it up again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be flipping them around this time because I don't want to focus solely on one side. All right, don't forget your TPE. I'm going to set this to, now I think originally we had it at 1/16 of an inch. So now I'm going to put it at it should be a 1/32, but 1/32 does not appear to be on here. So I'm guessing this is 1/32 right here. It doesn't want to click on there, so let's leave it at 1/48. Actually, let's go to 1/24 because I don't want to be sitting here doing this all day. Okay, I'm a little little worried because I'm starting to hear the fire smell again. Jeez, I don't know. This is something bad is happening here. Why is this creating such a problem for us? I think this initial divot is really what's causing a problem. I'm gonna flip this over and go on the other side. Although it does seem like we still have a ways to go on this side. Okay, that's better, that's better. Am I already ruining these blades? Man, these blades do not seem to last very long at all. I still feel like it needs a little bit more out this side. So remember, we can't go below 1.25 inches. Still have about a 1/16 of an inch to go. Still got that elusive 1/8 of an inch that just won't go away. I don't know how many passes it's gonna take. Seems like it's the same width. Again, these fucking blades are completely trashed. I don't know why. I'm just gonna flip it over now. 1.25. Oh yeah, that's very close. We're burning the wood again, which I know means the blades are dull again, which is just crazy because it just flipped them over. Seems like they should last longer than that. That's almost exactly 1.25. I think I'm just gonna stop there just so that I don't accidentally go under. All right, so if you look at the cross section of this rattan, there's actually like a natural point, and I chose that to go on the front. I've actually done that before on other pieces of rattan that I selected, but what happened is that when I started carving the handle, I accidentally carved it so that the point was on the side. And I was so mad at myself when I did that. Now that this front section is 1.25 inches, I think I'm just going to stop there and move on to the next piece. You can tell that the blades are going a little dull because there's scorch marks on here. I don't know if maybe this rattan's just been sitting around for too long and it's all dried up and now it's all hard. Maybe that's why the planer's having such a hard time with it. Let's move on to that next piece and see what happens. All right, so I've got another blade here. Another rattan blade. Not to be confused with a planer blade. This one doesn't quite have that natural point that the other blade does, but it does have a curve. And I did want to take advantage of that curve because that curve is right in the foible, or right in the sweet spot. I think, which is the foible. I can't remember now. Is it the strong? Or the forte rather. This blade kind of has some tape and crap stuck to it. Since these blades are kind of crapped out anyway, I'm probably going to have to replace them again. I'm just going to go ahead and chew up these old blades, power my way through this. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I got it set to 1/16 of an inch. Let's do it. Okay, so we've already run into a problem. The rattan is actually concave there, so it can't actually do anything. And I just realized I forgot to put on my masks. The masks are right there in the shot, and I totally forgot to put them on. Oh crap, now there's like glue on this little drum. Maybe not removing the tape was a bad idea. I'm almost thinking that I should use a hand planer. Alright, well I guess I better strip some of this tape off before I do any more work here. This is gonna take a while. Not one of my better projects. Not really doing a good job today. Although then again, all of my projects have all been a process of discovery. I never have claimed to know what I'm doing. All of this has just been a learning process for me. I've just merely been documenting it and sharing my experiences with you. This knife will probably be dull when I'm done with this. But then again, the only thing I use this knife for really is to open packages, so I should probably have a better knife for this. So I'm not really sure what kind of knife this is, but alright, but this isn't all that interesting. Let's cut the camera for now. Alright, so I've got my angle grinder set up, and what I'm going to do is I've made some markings here to correspond to where I'm going to hold this with my hands. So I'm going to carve out some indentations here that match more or less the form of my hand. I don't know how too fine a detail I'm going to get. I'm using this bench grinder, which worked surprisingly well in the past. I always do too much. I always end up taking away too much material. The only thing I need to remove is just enough material for my hand to comfortably grip the rattan. I've done so far. I'm not really sure I like it. Seems like an awful lot of grinding for not a lot of results. I'm wondering if I can get better results from just whittling this down with a knife. Okay, not this knife, it's not sharp enough. Alright, so we got a lot more work to do, so let's get grinding. We've whittled this down quite a bit. I'm not feeling confident enough to put a bunch of little grooves in here. They're a little sloppy, I admit it, but I don't want to go overboard and then accidentally, weaken the rattan and then just completely make it, no longer usable. Alright, so there's a couple of things we need to do these handles, actually, before we can continue. First, we need to scooch up this handle just a little bit. I realized I cut it just a little bit too low. The second thing is that we need to make notches for our hose clamps. Our hose clamps are going to secure the rattan to these cup hilts here, so we want to make some little notches for it. Looking over at the bench grinder, we see that it is just slightly wider than these hose clamps here. So that's perfect for us. So what we're going to do, find the optimal place to put our hose clamps. I did a bunch of grinding, I didn't even record it. So many mistakes. So I started cutting notches for the hose clamps. And, well, first of all, I cut this one in the front. That was a mess up. And then this one, I cut it a little bit too high. So I got to do that again. Can't wait to put this thing away and not think about it for a long time. Okay, so the bench grinder was a big help. We got as far as we could with that, I think. One thing I did forget to do is take down the edges on this piece of rattan. I didn't do it on this one. It was pretty easy with the bench grinder. Since I already put the bench grinder away, I just got this piece of 220 sandpaper. And I just want to take down the edges on this. Did I even do that properly with the bench grinder? It's easy to miss the corners with that thing. The corners on the tip are particularly important. This 220 actually cuts the rattan pretty deep. This I could just grind it on the pavement. You just rub the corners on the concrete and that'll take it down pretty quick. Alright, well doing that had the advantage of kind of taking down our 220 too. Now we can rub this on our handles without worrying that it's going to cut too much into our handling. Alright, I know that's pretty sloppy, but it's feeling pretty nice and smooth to the touch. Okay, so we got our rattan sticks here. I cut out some leather strips from a swath of leather. Actually, like waste leather that I got from secondhand from somebody giving it away at the SCA. It's kind of not the best leather, but this bit of material has been very useful to me over the years for using it as connective material and, exactly for uses like this. I believe I did use some of this leather to connect the plates that went on my under chassis, or my butt armor, so to speak. So this material has been very useful. So today we're going to use this to affix our thrusting tips onto our rattan here. Yesterday, this package came to me from Maester Eric at Munitions Grade Arms, and these are my thrusting tips. Now let's check this out here. We got two different kinds of thrusting tips here. Low profile thrusting tips, let's see. They don't quite cover the entire tip there, so maybe we should look at the other ones. These are our standard thrusting tips. It looks like these actually fit a little better. They actually cover the whole length of the rattan there. I think these will work fine, so let's get a couple of these, set them down here on the table. These are important to have because when you start taping this up, you want to put the covers on there first before you really start doing a lot of taping. Because if you tape them on afterwards, your rattan starts to get a little bit unwieldy, the width of it. Alright, so we put that on there. Take one of our wider strips. I'm going to do the lengthwise ones first. Son of a... Oh wow, I was able to get my fiber tape to come up all at once. Alright. So what I was saying is that once you start adding a lot of materials on here, and the tape and everything, it really starts to add up. Ah, heck. Tape got bunched up. Don't worry, we're going to tape that more later. Right now, we're just affixing these tips. There we go. All right. Ah, shit. It's harder than it looks. See, I'm already fucking it up. I think I did a worse job that time. Even though you want this tape to be nice and secure, you don't want this part of it to be too tight. I mean, you want it to be snug, yes, you want it not to shift around too much, but you also want to make sure that the thrusting tip itself has the progressive give that's required in the rules. That's what makes it a safety feature, is that when you're thrusting it at an opponent, that this is going to absorb most of that force and not put that force directly into your opponent. So you don't want to put too much tape on this area here. All right, so this is now where we start to get to the fun part here. Now it's all about just securing our rattan. I can see that I made this declination a little bit too shallow. No rule that says you have to make it down to one piece of tape. I used to really challenge myself to do that. I don't know why. Probably because I have OCD. Oh, God. This is already fucking up. Now here I'm having some trouble because the surface of this rattan has a lot of little details which are causing lots of little ripples in the tape. Oh, it's infuriating and I hate it. In any case, I made this angle a little bit too steep this time. To remind you, the whole point of the fiber tape is to, if the rattan ever breaks, to prevent splinters from coming out and potentially injuring someone. My least favorite thing about this tape is how it keeps wanting to fold over on itself laterally. If you learn nothing else, remember, everything is stupid. Like, literally everything. Get too shallow again. Keep missing that gap. It keeps creasing up right here at the same place. Oh, for fuck's sake. Remember, everything is stupid. Fiber tape loves to waste itself. It's overlapping too much. And the weird thing is, even if you start at a decent incline, it just starts bunching up for no reason whatsoever. Because as I said before, nothing is good. Everything is stupid. That's kind of like a weird remix of the Assassin's Creed motto. Nothing is forbidden, everything is permitted. But in this case, everything is stupid. Nothing is good. Oh shit. Already at a shitty angle. And the corner's already dog-eared. Time to tape up the other one. There's a little gap. I'm not too worried about it because I know that gap is going to close over time. It looks like the little gap isn't closing, but it's okay because we're going to get it on the way back. Probably. Like, wait till you get right to the bottom to screw up big time. Huh, tape. Fucking stupid piece of shit. Stupid piece of shit tape. Now I gotta cut it. Now I gotta trim it. Fuck up on the dismount too, huh, tape? Really wish this would stop creasing. I don't understand why this creases so much for no reason. Tape loves to waste itself, loves to create waste. And already, I haven't even put it fucking down yet, and it's already creased. Oh, already wasted, already dog-eared and fucking folded over and shriveled and wasted and piece of shit. Everything is stupid, see? Tape is stupid, these scissors are stupid, these gloves are stupid, everything is stupid. We got the fiber tape on there, now it's time to start making these pretty. Here's my bag of goodies right here. And by goodies, I mean tape. Got my duct tape. Duct tape. I find wrapping the sword up and down kind of tedious. Aesthetically, I like putting the long strips of tape on here. I don't know if that'll be possible with this one because this one's kind of curved. So putting on the long strip will be kind of difficult. Maybe I'll just wrap this one and I'll do the long strips with this one. Now, I remember the problem with this tape, even though it's very pretty, and it's not easy to find nice reflective tape like this. Even this tape is a little bit on the fragile side. See, I even had to damage it just to get the tape to unstick from itself. Let's try to find a good angle. And if this overlaps a little bit, that's fine. And I see it's actually a little bit too shallow. I'm saying it's a little bit too deep, rather, not shallow. So I gotta go back, gotta backtrack. See, now it's way too shallow. And now I'm tearing the tape off. So I'm gonna cut it short. I'm gonna cut it off here. Ugh, come on, lousy shit. Oh, now my scissors aren't cutting it. That's great. My pile of wasted tape over here. This choke point right here, this is a transition where the material that's holding the thrusting tip in place ends. You know, this is always gonna mess you up, so you kind of have to cut it off. Now this tape is even more unwieldy than the fiber tape. Angle's becoming too shallow here, so I gotta clip it, start over. Oh, okay, this is exhausting. No matter what you do, that angle always wants to reset itself. I've never seen the angle change to be an angle that's more extreme. Okay, in this case, yes, angle was too steep. Oh, fuck, why? Why does it do this stupid shit? Why does the tape ruin itself like that? I don't understand. I gotta get sharper scissors. Well, cut that time. It cut fine. All right, I am gonna go ahead and just do it lengthwise here. I'm gonna start on the sides and then do the front and the back. I know that this is bent in the middle here, so I'm not gonna try and compensate for that. The strips that I'm gonna put on the front and the back are gonna cover that up. I don't know why it has a mark here. I don't know if that's a stretch mark or what, but that's gross. That's an ugly mark. Let's see if we can cover that up somehow. So I actually totally forgot that you actually want to put the strips of tape on the front and the back of the rattan first, because then that leaves edges that you can cover up with the tape that you put on the sides, right? And then the tape that you put on the sides here, those leave edges on the front and the back, and those get covered up with your white tape that you put to demarcate the edge of your sword. I'm gonna put 2 more pieces of tape on the side here, and then I'm putting this tape on the edges, so. Ugh, son of a bitch, every time. Problem with this tape is that you do tend to run out of it very quickly. Looking good so far. Next one. Okay, so my camera was about to overheat, so I just went ahead and taped up the other one without you. Like I was saying before, you want to finish with the sides because that leaves these edges here on the front and the back. And now we're going to cover those little edges with tape that goes on the front and back edges of the sword. And also, one of the advantages of doing the tape vertically like this is that it kind of leaves like a little muck fuller on the side of your blade. It looks kind of subtle now, but the more layers of tape you put on there, the more obvious it becomes, and it looks kind of cool. So we covered up our little divots there. They're still there though. I like to cover the blade so it goes all the way down into the basket hilt. First, we're going to do the edge tape, all right? And then we're also going to cover up the thrusting tip with our, high contrast tape here, which is basically just white tape in this case. What I like to do is I like to cover the whole sword with 1 strip of tape here. Try to center that. Try to get that dead center. Bring it over. Try to get it centered on the top and the bottom. And then you can start pressing it down once you feel you have it centered. Hardest thing is to get it centered on the top there. And then if you pull too hard on one side of the tape, it gets a little wacky, and then, yep, I mean, we got the tape right over our center edge there, so that's good. Oh, by the way, the tape I'm using is white gaffer's tape. I find that gaffer's tape works really well for this, and it's also more aesthetically pleasing than duct tape. Duct tape tends to be more plasticky, and it also has a very glossy sheen, which kind of makes it look more plastic and cheap. Gaffer's tape, on the other hand, is more matte and tends to look more like fabric. So it has a little bit more of a luxurious feel to it. That's subjective, of course. Gaffer's tape is a lot more expensive than duct tape, so that's something you might want to consider. Either one works fine, really. When you're, beating the crap out of each other with sticks, usually kind of the last thing on your mind. I get hung up on little details like that, Oh yeah, let's do the other one now. want to damage tape. Now we're kind of having fun. I'm gonna cut a couple of strips here. Ugh, come on, don't do that. Stupid glove. Ugh, why? Alright. Not too long. This is the front edge, so... That's what I always love to see, a big greasy stain on my tape. That goes around the front, and then we meet in the back. And there's our thrusting tip, looking like a marshmallow. See what I've done? I've already ruined this. Fuck me. Okay. Oh well, it was inevitable. Shit. Hey, we already ruined our finish. This little scheme here, using the handle to hold this up. What a disappointment. It doesn't look too bad, and it doesn't really ruin the functionality of the sword, so I guess I can live with it for now. Alright. Problem is that this is the most convenient way of holding the sword up. Anyway, let's do it again. Alright, let's pull this out of here. Hopefully it's not ruined. You know, I know that the finish on the tape is going to be ruined eventually, but it would be nice if it at least lasted to the first battle before getting completely jacked up. And it's a shame to mar the nice reflective surface before we even get a chance to hit anybody with it. Well, we're all done here with the blade, so now it's time to wrap up this handle with athletic tape and then attach it to the basket hilt. Yeah! We're almost done, guys! I was going to use red, I think, in this case, because I'm going to be handling these swords all the time, and they're going to probably get kind of dirty, so I'm going to just go ahead and go with black, because I don't think the red really is going to add anything. So, alright, I'm just going to wrap this the way I've been doing it. Oh, shit. Yep, it's too steep. Finding the right angle is just kind of a pain in the butt here. There we go. Oh, fuck, there's a gap. Okay. God damn it. Well, with this one, we can kind of fudge it a little bit. Yeah, this tape is nice and flexible, so it doesn't crease up nearly as much as any of the other tapes do. We are going to go ahead and give that another go-around, mostly because we're going to be dealing with gauntlets and other things that are going to possibly perforate this tape, so we want to give it some heft. At this point, we are reversing the direction of the spiral here. Probably trim it right there. Put some finish on that. Just gonna put some finish on the bottom. I always try to put my seams in the back. I'll just go ahead and do the other one and then we can skip to the next step, okay? So we're just about ready to slip these in. We are ready. We're totally ready. Okay. Okay. This one's got some tension on it, which is good. Tension helps keep it in place. Okay, it's got more tension than it did before. This is what happens when you add stuff back onto it, like tape. Okay, you know, maybe I need my mallet. I found this little piece of rattan we can use. It's a good thing that this plastic cup hilt is tough, because I am kind of breaking the shit out of it right now. I'm kind of abusing it. So, oh shit, okay, I pushed it in too far. Now, let's move back up just a touch, just a little bit. Good, good, everything's fitting perfectly. So, I just gotta slip the other one in, and then get ready to put our pipe clamps in place. Okay, don't roll around on me, don't want that. Oh no. What's keeping us from getting this into place is that athletic grip tape. Wow, I did not realize it would be that much of an issue. Oh, shit. Well, what a pain in my ass. Alright, so here's a box cutter. Gee, what a terrible waste of time and energy. Okay, so we had to tear out a significant amount of tape to get the cup hilt on there, which I guess in a way is good, because that means that now it'll probably never come off. Now we gotta replace that athletic tape. Getting it in there and then around and to come back out again, that's kind of a challenge. Let's move on to our pipe clamps. Finally the pipe clamps. I keep calling these pipe clamps, but they're actually hose clamps. I go to the hardware store and ask the guy for a pipe clamp. The guy has no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're having an issue here. And the issue is that this hose clamp is too round. So I'm just gonna bend it a little bit. It'll reach around fine. It's just that it doesn't wanna close. So frustrating. Okay, so I fiddled with this for a little while, and I got it to work. Turning it around like this made it a little bit easier to thread it in there. I don't like it, it's ugly, but the only other thing we could do, possibly, is get a larger hose clamp. But I don't really feel like doing that right now, so this'll just have to do. Oh shit, did it break? I think we might be having a problem here. Getting it into this bottom part is gonna be next to impossible. Okay, so I went to the store, and I got bigger hose clamps. 3/4 of an inch to 1 3/4 of an inch. They're definitely bigger around, so they're gonna fit hopefully this time. Almost looks like a friendship bracelet. So I don't know about you, but I'm always thinking about where to put my hose clamps, or rather where to put the part that screws together here. And I've kind of decided that the best place for it, at least on the top part, is to put this little screw bit on the back here. And I think that's because that's where it's least likely to get hit. On the bottom, it's a different story. I don't put it on the back because on the back, there it's more likely to get caught up in your clothes or in your armor. On the bottom, I think it's a little bit easier to put it on the front. All right, so let's do the top part first here. It's also kind of an aesthetic choice, but it kind of doesn't matter because we're gonna be covering this whole thing with tape anyhow. Functionally, I don't want this thing getting beat to heck and back with rattan, so I'm gonna put it on the back. Is it secured? Yeah, I think it's good. Oh yeah, this is okay. This is much easier to secure than those smaller ones. This one actually gives us the full reach around. So a problem with these sometimes is that when you tighten it, it wants to tend to pull towards the direction where you're tightening it to. So this, in this case, this is pulling towards the left here. So when you start, you kind of want to have it shifted towards the right a little bit. That's about as tight as it wants to go. Can always go a little tighter, I guess. I don't know if I want to tighten it too much, because then what happens is that the little screw that's driving the band here kind of slips out of these little holes, and then it starts to it starts to slip. So don't want that. So what I think, because this is so wide, this is such a wide clearance here, that I'm actually going to put the little screw thing on the side, on the inside here, because it's a little bit awkward, I think, and a little bit impractical to try to balance it on this bracket thing here, and also try to close it up like that. I mean, I could do it. I just don't feel like it's really worth my time and energy to do it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck it on the inside here. This is a sword that's going to go in the right hand for the most part. So I'm just going to tuck it in on the left. It's probably less likely to get struck here because all the blows going to be coming from the outside. And also I'm going to face the screw head facing up so that it's easier for me to place this down and to, service it whenever I need to, rather than trying to place it on the, like this. Which on this table, actually, okay, it's actually not that big of a deal. Oh, this might not be big enough. Oh, I take it back. The advantage of sticking this on the side here is that this metal band is going to conform and bend to the shape of the sword, rather than me trying to, force the band to bend with my fingers or whatever. All right. Okay, so I realize I totally should have done this first. These clamps, I don't know what else to call them. These brackets, I guess. They have these really long tails on them. All right. So I don't want to utilize that whole tail because that eats up inches of rattan that could otherwise be going towards the blade. I need to trim off the excess because now this constitutes a safety hazard. If I accidentally beat someone on the back of the head with that, that becomes, really kind of dangerous. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that. I took the hose clamp off of there just because I don't want to burn the rattan any more than I already have. Now I'm just going to trim this with my angle grinder. Hopefully the linseed oil doesn't cause too much of a problem. Hopefully it doesn't burst into flames. That would be bad. Okay, that was pretty easy. Luckily, this is mild steel, so I don't think that was ever going to be too much of a problem with us. now we're gonna hit it with our fine grit flat wheel. Pretty nice day out. Let's just wrap things up out here. So let's just go ahead and retighten our hose clamp here. Oh wait, we're missing our groove. Shoot. How did that happen? There we go. Oh, son of a biscuit. See, this hose clamp has already been shaped when we tightened it over the basket hilt here and the rattan. Let's just slip it back on. We gotta loosen it first. There we go. We're almost done here with our very cool curved saber. Let me know in the comments if you would have turned around the other way. All right, slip that on there. On to the last one. It's always a challenge getting the little tabby bit in there. That nice and tight. Okay, so we finally got our cup hilt attached. Last thing to do is that we have to cover up these metal fittings with tape so that they don't damage other people's gear. Got our nice decorative gold duct tape. Quack, quack. This might be a little tougher than I anticipated. Oh, okay, come on. Okay, there we go. All right. Actually, so I had to think about the design of this for a little bit. And what I went ahead and did is that I cut the strip of tape in half, and I went ahead and put a little strip underneath here, underneath the hose clamp, because I knew that there was going to be a part that was going to be uncovered down here, and it was going to look a little weird. So I went ahead and covered that first. What I typically do is I put the tape, the edge of the tape up here next to the screw head, and then I wrap the tape around like that. Oh, okay, came up a little short here, but that's okay, because I'm gonna put more than one piece of tape here. I never cover this up, because I always want to have access to this screw in order to tighten the hose clamp in case I ever need to. Alright, so now I cut another piece of tape, and I went ahead and put it right up there, next to the head of the screw there. I'm just gonna wrap it around. There. Oh boy. That piece got all dog-eared, so I'm just gonna cut it off right there. Alright, we got one last go around here. Okay, so this part's gone a little bit too far. It doesn't look amazing, but it's good enough. Same thing down here. Bring it back up around. There isn't really one right way to do it, I guess, because this pommel is so irregularly shaped that it's going to be hard to get it to look very consistent. Alright, so we've completed our two very attractive, very good-looking rattan swords with cup hilts. And we only had to waste a half a metric fuck ton of tape. We still have to add lanyards, because them's the rules. You're fighting really hard, and maybe you accidentally lose your grip on your sword, or you get disarmed. They don't want the sword flying out of the list and hitting somebody on the head. Or anywhere else for that matter. So we still need to add lanyards. But that's a relatively easy thing to do. All I gotta do is order some of my favorite gold paracord. So once we've added the lanyards, all that's left to do is to train diligently for years and to master the use of these weapons. Why don't we go to the field and check out how I did my first time fighting Florentine.
I got a stick. Ooh, I got a stick. Ooh. Go stick!
Yeah, so what?
Good shoulder. Good. No, flat. Okay. It came down like that. I wish I could have did a good one. Not good.
Right in the armpit.
Okay.
Stings.
Walk it off, Xerus.
I'll be fine. It stings like a fish. Okay.
I was running out of gas.
Yield. Alright, my lords and ladies. Well, I hope you had as much fun as I did making our new swords and trying Florentine for the first time. Don't forget our motto, Noli timere utsuya. Don't be afraid to suck. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the battlefield.